Craig.
Hey,
good
great to see you again.
Oh man, the hair's better, like even crazier in person. That's impressive. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Got a couple questions for you.
All right, let's do it. Cloud can run on your data without Apple or anyone else ever being able to see the data.
When you're introducing their language models, how does user privacy stand? With Apple, we've been hearing about machine learning for years.
Machine learning.
Machine learning.
Machine learning.
Machine learning.
And we all know that's basically AI. So what was the thought process behind making it official and bringing Apple Intelligence to everyone?
Well, a couple things. As you point out, machine learning has been built into just so many of the things you do with your phone all the time. You take a beautiful picture, you get a nice memory, crash your car, and help gets called for you. I mean, there's ML, and your device actually already has hundreds of these models in it. But what's happened this year is really this new level of personal intelligence that Apple Intelligence builds on these major new pieces. One being a big foundational, actually a pair of foundational generative model. These are very large, capable models that can run on the phone. And then these pieces that complement it, like this semantic index that understands your context, and a new user experience that pulls that all together and can use it to automate different apps on your phone. So when all these ingredients were able to come together to create a whole new class of experience that, as I say, we call personal intelligence, that was a moment we really wanted to call out. We think people are going to notice it as a real kind of new class of experiences that they have that are just integrated throughout all the things they do.
Okay, so a lot of the smart things that we could rely on our phones for in the past using machine learning were just a bit more broad, and now the more personalized part is where we're seeing the AI Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, and you'll continue to see, of course, many, many more of the kinds of uses of machine learning just transparently throughout all the things you do on your phone. But there's this other class of experience that's new and exciting and is also gonna build to be more and more capable.
I'm excited because I feel like Siri is going to transform into that assistant that you would speak to in real life.
Yeah.
Where you say, hey, book my, I don't know, Uber to whatever, or when was the last time I visited this place? And be able to get those responses, I think is gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the beginning of Siri, the team had this really compelling vision.
That's a feature in the iPhone 4S we call Siri. Siri is your intelligent assistant that helps you get things done just by asking.
We've been working toward it over time, but it's really taken this move with Apple Intelligence to have this tremendous foundation that Siri can now build on that I think is going to get us much, much closer to that vision I think we all want for that kind of assistance.
And while we're talking about like that personal experience, Apple in the past has had a very, I guess, traditional way that they wanted the user experience to feel like. Now, like in the most recent years, we're seeing a lot of that maybe change a little bit with all of the customization that users are now able to implement throughout their device. What's the thought process behind moving away from the same ways that we used to use our phones to what we're getting now, where it's a lot more personalized and open?
I think at one level we're on a journey with our customers. When you come out with something new, I think it is really important to establish a real identity for that thing, for how it works, for how it looks, for how we're all going to experience it. And then as you become more comfortable with it as a community, you start to then want to explore more variation and understand what are the dimensions that you'd like some freedom with. And I think if you look back to iOS 14, when we did widgets, we got such a strong reaction from people really wanting to take advantage of that to customize. We even saw at the time some people taking advantage of that to create alternate app icons and styling their home screens in all these ways, even creating like transparent widgets so they could space things out. I mean, the inventiveness was tremendous, and so we could really feel that we tapped a vein there, that there was this pent-up energy for people to express themselves on their home screens. And so we've been continuing to work toward it, and this year I think took another big step. But I think it's, in a way, it's a fun thing for us to chart this course over time together. At each moment, it's kind of an event, it's kind of novel and something everybody can explore. And so it was really exciting to be able to do that this year.
I definitely feel like, I think everyone's kind of seeing just how personal the phone's going to be and how different they're going to look across everyone else's devices. So
oh yeah.
It's going to be huge. With all of this personalization, everyone having like their own tailored experience, I know privacy is a big thing for Apple, and that personal info, all of that stuff is paramount for Apple. So when it comes to Apple Intelligence and working with other companies that like OpenAI, when you're introducing their language models, how does user privacy stay at the forefront of how those partnerships are made?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. It's completely, if you look at what we've done, it starts at the core of our values, and privacy is a huge part of it. If you're going to bring personal intelligence, that's bringing more and more what can be, of course, personal, sensitive information, and so privacy is at the forefront of that, and that's why we built this architecture around on-device processing, and even when we need to use the cloud, we have this really, I think, breakthrough architecture we call private cloud compute, where Apple models on the cloud can run on your data without Apple or anyone else ever being able to see the data. That's critical for the core experience. But the times when you might want to use another model, just like you might want to run an app or visit a website, and at that point you're dealing with another entity. We want to make that a really smooth experience, but we want to make sure you are completely in control and understand what's happening. So for instance, you ask a question of Siri, and Siri says, well, I think OpenAI could help with that. You're told, do you want to send this question to OpenAI? And no other information is shared. And in fact, we've worked with OpenAI in our arrangements, so they don't need to know your identity. We're actually even going through a proxy, so they don't know your IP address. They're not logging those requests. So we're working with them, of course, to raise the bar in the context of their privacy. But most critically is that our users are completely in control and understand when they're using something like that. So they make the choice when they do that.
It's awesome to hear all of these different features and how they're going to be implemented. But what's your favorite feature that's coming to any of the OSs?
This is always the hardest, right? Like which of your children do you love the most, kind of thing. Yeah. Look, I've been had the benefit over the last many months as we've gotten them all working to be living on many of these, and I use a ton. I mean, there was a time we hit a bunch of birthdays among the members of my team that we're working with. I know it sounds crazy. We're all literally sending each other all these Genmoji and fun images of personalized to each other.
Right.
And I tell you, I mean, it was a ton of fun. But I appreciate every day right now when my email's all summarized for me. I mean, I go through a lot of it, and our models do a really amazing job at putting all the key points right up front. So I benefit. That's a little boring and practical, but I benefit from that a ton. So, but I love them all.
I hear you. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, great to speak with you,
Craig. I only have one last question.
One last.
How are you going to top jumping out of a plane?
I'm going to top jumping out of a plane. I don't know. There was a joke on set whether there was a moon launch or something coming for our next event. So we'll see what we can work out.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.